never felt the need to be in the public eye, or the need, even when I was in Oasis, I was always the last person to get on board to go back to the studio. I don't chase fame or success or anything like that. They're both coming up, 20 years of Definitely Maybe and Morning Glory. I'm sure there'll be a celebration of sorts. The band won't be getting back together to celebrate it all. Liam has already said, you know, the thought of it makes him want to vomit, which would be reason enough to get the band back together, in my opinion. It will be celebrated somehow, whether there'll be, you know, street parties in England or not. You know, it could be a bit like the Royal Wedding. We only had 2 gigs left on that tour. We only had that night in Paris and another one. I guess, you know, I would have gone back, done the gig, left, done gone to Italy and done the other gig, and then we could have all gone off and we wouldn't have seen each other for a year and a half, and it might have been different. I kind of went and sat in the car and just thought, nah, not this time. This is just, there's violence for violence sake now, and I'm out of here, you know. And went on holiday, you know, and never looked back really. But I do regret leaving those kids in a field in Paris to listen to, you know, Block Party. I apologise for that. When I first met my wife, I smoked Benson and Hedges cigarettes, and she smoked Marlboro Lights, right? Ladies' cigarettes. She convinced me to change brands to Marlboro Lights, and then do you know what she did? The cruelest trick a woman has ever played on a man. Never mind eating a apple with the snake and all that. She quit smoking. And do you know what I do now? I smoke Marlboro Lights like a woman. Now, admittedly, I've married this woman since, so I've forgiven her. But I remind her every now and again, yeah, you me up. You my life up. I went to see him. Yeah, really early on. This one, they were called, what are they called? I think they were called Oasis. And they were playing at this venue in London that we'd only just sold out about 6 months before, and it was sold out. And I was like, no, I've got to see this. I've got to see these people, and they would say, well, all the people that couldn't see Oasis, they were claiming they were going to go to this gig. And I was like, this is unbelievable. So we kind of went in and kind of stood at the back, and they were doing loads of stuff that we never did. We were like, that's outrageous. My proudest achievement, being here after nearly 20 years, and still having people getting excited about the songs that I write after 20 years, is, I guess, an achievement.
Okay, in my mind.
Oh yeah, hang on a minute. Whoa. Come on.
You ready for this?
We're not going to go into that black hole, are we? Everybody's on the Run. You're right, it's great, and I admire your taste. I guess because the album's quite varied, there isn't one song that really says it all for the record, I think. But my favourite is a track called What a Life, because it doesn't sound like anything that I've ever done before. It sounds like a collaboration that I may have done with like the Chemical Brothers or something. But you know, I don't know. It's like asking somebody, you know, which of your 3 children do you prefer? I mean, I prefer my daughter, but let's not take that any further. But that's a joke. If anybody's listening to this back in England, people are laughing there. That's a joke. I love them equally, all 3 of them. But you know, it's kind of like asking you know, who's your favourite, your mum or your dad?
My dad.
Yeah, I like your dad too. Yeah, I never did like your mum. Only there's some on YouTube of me doing them in sound checks on the last Oasis tour. Everybody's on the Run. There's a version of that from a sound check in Hong Kong, I think. And If I Had a Gun, there's a version of it from a sound check in, I can't remember, South America somewhere, but not officially. No, I haven't done any gigs yet. Yes, I'm gonna do 4, maybe 5, but no more than 6. I don't see them as Oasis songs anymore because, Oasis didn't write them. I wrote them. I don't remember anybody being there when I was writing Champagne Supernova, apart from the little people that come to visit, in the night. But they're all my songs, so I don't know which. I've been rehearsing like about 6 or 8, but I'm not going to do more than 4, I don't think. Only on the live side. Yeah. On the live side, it'll be quite. Like being a frontman will be quite new to me. I've only been rehearsing for maybe 2 or 3 weeks with my band back in England, and it's not my natural instinct to be in the centre of the stage. It's my natural instinct to play lead guitar and to do backing vocals. So I've had to stop doing that now, and I'm kind of playing rhythm guitar and singing lead vocals. But it's something I guess I'll get used to, and if I don't, I'll retire. Well, I had 15 minutes to prepare for that, so there's like, if I'd have had more than an hour, I probably would have, I don't know, pulled out and done it another day. But I mean, the whole audience was seated and ready, and then it was just like, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm not doing the gig. What? Oh, right. Why? Another sore throat? Yeah. So it was. I guess I didn't have time to get very nervous about that and what it meant. But that was a case of needs must. It was like we had to go and we had to do it then. It was going out on the telly that night. So, but this is different. I don't really have to do this. I'm doing it because I don't really want to be in another band. I've been in one of the best bands ever. What's the point? This is a bit more. It's a bit more noble what I'm attempting to do now, whatever that may be. We'll never know, but I guess. Could you imagine a world without those 2 albums or those songs? So I guess somehow they would have had to come out. But we'll never know. We'll never know. I'd like to think that my immense and immeasurable talent would have somehow forced its way onto the world stage at some point. I've never felt the need to be in the public eye or the need. Even when I was in Oasis, I was always the last person to get on board to go back to the studio. I don't chase I don't chase fame or success or anything like that. I mean, I'd taken about a year out, and I'd written a lot of songs, and I demoed most of them, and there just came a point where it just felt, I should get in the studio, but not for any other reason than to record these songs and see what they sounded like. And I didn't really tell anybody. I kept it quiet for a year and a half, and it was all very relaxed and low key. There was just me, an engineer, a drummer, and a part-time keyboard player who came in and out. So there's only 3 of us in there, and it was done very kind of leisurely. And then, my wife went and got pregnant, and so that, I had 6 months off with looking after my new son and all that. So It was it was quite a leisurely pace. Some might say majestic. Yeah, an actor. Well, for my limited acting ability that I've done on videos so far, I have not got the acting bug just yet. But a radio show, I've been involved in a radio show with Russell Brand a couple of years ago till he got us all sacked from the BBC for being a juvenile. But yeah, I've had kind of guested radio spots. Yeah, it's something I'd like to do it. I'd like to have a late night radio show where you just discuss the Kardashians and stuff like that. And so what the fuck's all this about? Is that even a real name? Is it really? Kardashian? A real name? I don't know. I wouldn't get a radio show to talk about music. Bollocks to that. to put the world to rights. Music? Pfft. Listen to the White Album if you want to know about music. Now, about these celebrities, you know, does Ice really love Coco? Really? Can anybody see love there? You know, these are the topics that, you know, they need to be discussed on world radio, never mind national radio. Somebody said to me, "It's a bit obscure in it," and I was like, "Is it? I don't know. That's just what I listen to. You know, I've got a broad taste in music. I'm still struggling with jazz. What is it? What is it all about? 4 guys on stage enjoying themselves more than anybody else in the audience, playing the wrong notes at the same time. Though that's jazz. All right, is that what they're calling it now? Because it used to be called when I was growing up. But apart from jazz and heavy metal, goth music, you know, there's a reason why they slit their wrists, isn't there? Really. All that fucking nihilism, it's called. I don't listen to that. But apart from that, I've got a broad taste in music and I can appreciate, you know, most of its forms. But yeah, people were saying it's a bit odd, that CD. I was like, is it? I don't know. That's just what I listen to. Elvis, because he influenced everything that came after Elvis, leading right up to now. All good. They all goes back to Elvis. So him, and as a band, I'd probably say the Sex Pistols. And I would have said Lennon and McCartney, but they got it from Elvis. So, you know, but probably those two really. My proudest achievement, being here after nearly 20 years, and still having people getting excited about the songs that I write after 20 years, is, I guess, an achievement. Yeah, not dye my hair at 44. It's virtually unheard of. It's virtually unheard of. I don't know anybody that's got this far without at least having doing the roots. God's been kind to me in certain ways, and, you know, not in others. But. No, I think you kind of always end up where you're supposed to be. I don't think there's not any great lost artists from that age. Maybe there's a band from Liverpool who we knew right at the beginning called Smaller. They kind of had one album out. I always thought they'd be bigger than they were, but not really. I think you end up, the natural order of things dictates that you end up where you're going to be. I'm not sure I'd know what to say to Bob Dylan. You know. So, wow. all that speed. Do you know what I mean? I've met everybody, including Beatles and Rolling Stones, but the one person that I wed was like, was Neil Young. Because it was like, he was at Woodstock, the end. Do you know what I mean? And I've loved him since I started playing the guitar, you know, and he knew my name, which freaked me out, you know. I mean, I knew my name, obviously. It wasn't that weird, but the fact that he said my name, hey, Noel, I was like, oh, fucking hell. What do you want? I'm busy. Do you know what I mean? I was like, Neil Young. It's incredible.